Have you ever realized how in today's life, I mean, we have so much distractions, and this could be sports, entertainment, films, gaming, all these activities that take so much of our time and give us nothing more than a thrill. Actually, the effect of these activities is like a drug. It's no different from someone who's consuming a drug to get high, and because what do these drugs do? They make us numb from the realities around us. Then we wake up the next day and you're done with the effects of these drugs. You go back to your normal life. There you have your problems waiting for you and telling you, welcome back. We are still here. Your bills are still here. Nothing has changed. So that's something that really keeps bothering me, because we have all these distractions. We have so much entertainment today, and yet this is the generation that has the most issues of mental health, depression. What's happening, And sports fans are some of the most interesting people, and I've been one of them, so of course I'm not judging here. But you realize that we get so involved in supporting our teams, and you say, we have won the Premier League or we have won this tournament, and you're so excited, and yet for these teams, they don't even know you exist. You say things like, this season we are going to do this season we are going to achieve this, In fact, one of my favorite is where a fan will say, this season we are buying a player X, for 15 million pounds. And he's so excited. I'm thinking, you are buying a player for 15 million pounds? Those teams don't even know you exist. And if you got thrown out of your house, will they come to help you? They don't even know you. They are there succeeding, making millions, doing so much for themselves to succeed as a team. I'm talking about these sports teams and sports personalities. They are there excelling and making millions, and we're cheering them on, and we are broke. Something's wrong with that picture, really. I'm not calling it distraction because I hate these teams or I hate sports. I'm just talking about distraction because it takes your eyes away from what is important to you. You can say, but Norman, I need the entertainment and I'm just supporting them for fun. Yeah, right. You're not supporting them for fun. Because when they lose, you get depressed for 2 weeks. That's not for fun. It's an addiction. It's a misplaced focus, completely misplaced focus. Why don't we focus on building ourselves and spending more time reading books, proving our skills, sharpening our tools, sharpening our skill set, so that we can work better, work smarter, work more efficiently, work with more excellence, and be able to produce more. How about that? So we have distractions, and then we have intention. We want to have a change in our life. This is something that I'm learning as I go along and in life, that if you want to make progress, we need to be able to focus on intentions and ignore the distractions. And distractions could even be the people you keep company with. If you keep company, let's say, with 5 broke people, guess who will be the 6th? If you keep company with 5 people who are not ambitious, who are not improving themselves, guess who will be the 6th person? If you keep company with 5 thieves, guess who will be the 6th? And the reverse is true. If you keep company with 5 rich people who are focused, who are building themselves, who are improving themselves, guess who will be the 5th person? If you keep company with 5 people who are taking their career seriously, taking their business seriously, and finding ways to excel and be the best they can be, guess who will be the 6th person? It is you. It is me, if that's the company we're keeping. So success follows those who execute their intentions and ignore distractions. Have you ever wondered why in any field, there are a few superstars, there are a few legends in any field, Because why do we have one Michael Jordan? Why do we have one Kipchoge? Why do you have one Usain Bolt? Why do you have one Tiger Woods? Why do we have one Michael Tyson? Why do we have one Muhammad Ali? Why do you have one Bezos? Only one Michael Jackson? Pick any field, whether it's business, entertainment, music, sports, film, science, any field. There are many participants, few professionals, a few stars, even fewer superstars, and occasionally 1 or 2 legends, that seem to come up, once in a lifetime. And this is because these individuals have focused on intention. I've never found anyone who's successful who has not focused on intention, and been able to completely ignore the distractions, Can I surprise you, and you can check this, that these superstars, if you really look at them, all these legends and superstars that dominate in their class and in specific fields, they're not superhuman in any way. They're just persons like you and me, average people who decided to be intentional and to be the best they can be. Michael Jordan, who's my favorite basketballer, was not the most talented in that sport. He actually got cut out of his high school basketball team. He couldn't make the cut, you know. If you read his story, he had to work so hard. He had to practice and practice before he was accepted back into his high school team. And he made sure from that point on that he became the best of the best. He never allowed that to happen again. He just used to practice and became the best, you know. And practice the free throw. You know, the free throw in basketball. He practiced that free throw from the line, the one you get when you're fouled and you just shoot. He practiced shooting the free throw so much that he could do it with his eyes closed. And in some of the games, those who followed Michael Jordan's career, there are games when he would do it, he'd call one of the players and say, you know, like Mutombo, there was this guy they used to always, you know, compete with, and he would say, Mutombo, this is for you. And he'd close his eyes and make a free throw. You know, he had done it so many times, practiced until he was so good. Somebody said, and I don't know who this is, I don't want to take a credit for other people's quotes, but I don't know the name of the person. But somebody said, amateurs practice until they get it right, but professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Just think about that. So the reality is that almost anybody can become the best of the best, but sadly, almost nobody will. And why is that? It's because there is a price to pay, and very few of us are willing to pay the price, to be completely dedicated, to be committed no matter what. Most people just want to do the bare minimum, then go to sleep, and then we wonder why we never get far, you know. Also talking to myself in this discussion that I'm raising, I've lived a life of average, you know. I've been an average person. I've held many jobs. I've just been okay, just done enough, and sometimes slightly above average, but that's about it, you know. I'm not proud about it. I'm now learning to pursue excellence and to be the best I can be. I'm not in a competition with anyone. I'm not trying to win against anyone. I'm just committed to being the best version of myself, of the person that God made me to be, you know. And there's no competition. If you're the best version of what God made you to be, guess what? There's no competition. There's no one who can be you at your best, you know. Nobody can be better at being you than you. So you have a unique advantage because God made you as an individual, as a unique person, and nobody else can be you better than you. Think about it. In Ecclesiastes, if I can read for you in the Bible, that has guided my life in many ways, and my life would not be what it is today if it was not for the Bible and the truths that are in the Bible. In Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10, it says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. So whatever you find to do, do it with all your might. And that is what I'm talking about, excellence. Just having your intentions right, avoiding the distractions, and just executing with excellence, being the best of who you are. In chapter 9 verse 11 of Ecclesiastes, I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned, but time and chance happens to them all. Moreover, no one knows when their hour will come. Again, the race is not to the swift. It means that if you be the best you can be, if you work on being the best version of yourself, then you'll be better than people who are swift. You're going to execute better than and be stronger than people who are strong. You'll be winning battles against people who are stronger than you. You'll be getting food or resources better than even the wise, you know, and you will get wealth better than even the brilliant, people who are sharp, and be able to make wealth and become rich better than even those who are brilliant. And you'll find favor more than the learned. Those who are educated, have the degrees, have all these qualifications, will not outdo you in favor. You will get more favor because of focusing on intention. So, like I said, all these great people don't have any special talents or gifts or skills. The only difference is that they are intentional. They have decided to pursue excellence in the best way that they know how in their class and in their category. You know, there's a law in science, and I came across this law and it just fascinated me. Price law, it's used a lot in statistics, I think, in maths and all that. Price law of statistics states that 50% of any given result is generated by the square root of the number of those who contribute to it. Just think about that. I mean, I know that's confusing. It goes back to maths. And so we have to think about what is a square root. So you go back to your maths 101, the square root is that factor of a number which when multiplied by itself gives the original number. For example, 5 to 5 is 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So it means that, let's go to agriculture. If you have 4 potato plants, it means 2 will produce 50% of the harvest. And that's okay because 2 out of 4, that's half. So they'll produce 50%. 4 salesperson, 2 will produce 50% of the sales. The same goes for sports. If you have 4 people in a team, 2 will score 50% of the goals or the points. When you start to increase the number, then it becomes, unbelievable. So now, if you have 25 potato plants, guess what? Only 5 will produce 50% of the harvest. The other 20 will produce the other half. If you have 25 salesperson, only 5 will make for 50% of the sales. Think about it. You have 25 sales team, only 5 will produce 50% of the sales. If you have 25 team players in a sport, only 5 will score 50% of points in that sport. You think about that. And as the numbers increase, it becomes more ridiculous. Talk about 100. So if you have 100, you're only talking about 10 of them. If you have a sales team of 100 people, only 10, only 10 will produce 50% of your sales turnover in that organization. And the other 90 will produce the other 50%. I mean, that's unbelievable, And it's fascinating. This is why I believe that, governments cannot legislate income equality. We keep talking about income equality and wealth equality and all this. The governments are trying to legislate. They can't. You can't legislate income equality. Why? Because you cannot regulate individuals' productivity. We can't, because some people will dedicate themselves, improve their skill, be the best of the best, and they will produce so much because of that choice. While someone else will just do the bare minimum, produce less, and that's the way of life. And again, don't get me wrong, also the amount you produce is not the only proof whether you're doing your best. It's not just the amount, because again, if you go back to the Bible, which I said I normally refer to a lot, there is a story in the New Testament, the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 15, which talks about the talents and how people know about this story of the talents. And in that parable, it says, to one, 5 talents were given, and the other servant, 2 talents, and the third servant, 1 talent, each according to their ability. So again, God, the creator in his wisdom, knows that this person can handle 5 talents, this person can handle 2 talents, this person can handle 1 talent. And even in the end of that parable, if you think about the lesson behind it, because when the master came back, the guy with the 5 had produced another 5, the guy with 2 had produced another 2, they had invested and traded and been able to be productive. The guy with the 1 talent went and buried it, so he had nothing. He just produced the 1 talent he had been given. And the story ends by the master actually taking that 1 talent from the guy, the lazy guy, and giving it to the one who had the most. And you say, it's unfair, but that's what life is. If you have talent, you have these gifts you've been given, and you might have 5, you might have 2, you may have 1. If you're not using them, even the one that that one that you have that you're not using will be taken away from you. And that's why you find people struggling, because even what they have been given, they are not using it, because so your productivity could be 5 by 5, which is okay. 2 by 2 means you have 2, you produce 2, that's okay. Or 1 by 1. If the guy with the 1 talent had produced 1 other talent, the master would have been happy with him. But the problem is that he went and hid it, So as long as you're being the best in your class, the best of the best, you're working and you're being the best version of you, then it's okay. You're going to be able to excel and be also the best in class, in your class or in your category. And that's the challenge I leave with you today, and commit to be the best version of yourself in everything you do, because nobody can compete with that. Nobody can compete with you if you're the best version of yourself. And we can only achieve this if we are intentional, we avoid distraction, polish our skill set, polish our mindsets, and that way we can be the best of what God called us to be, and you can live a life of excellence, a life of plenty, because the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is intention versus focusing on intention, and those who shun distraction. So thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. Press the notification bell so that when we have new content, you can be notified. And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye.